The story is about a famed queen of Egypt, which is well known and remembered for several weird things, including bathing in milk, and using a snake to kill herself. But you might not know that she married not one but both of her brothers. Before moving ahead, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and click the bell icon. The queen is known as Cleopatra. She was the ruler of Egypt between 51 BC and 12 BC, also known as the most beautiful woman. Probably, yes. Her father, who was the king of Egypt, specified in his will that she and her eldest brother Ptolemy XIII, who was 7 years her junior, should marry and rule together. This was not unusual in Cleopatra's family, or indeed among pre-Ptolemaic Egyptian royalty. Quite a few of her ancestors married their siblings or their nieces, and, in pre-Ptolemaic times, it was also not uncommon for pharaohs to marry their own daughters. It was thought to strengthen the divine royal bloodline by keeping it pure, which, from a modern perspective, is rather ironic. However, when Cleopatra married her brother, he was 12 years old, and she was 18. Since her brother was too young to rule, he depended on her advisors, and it wasn't long before a power struggle broke out between them and Cleopatra, which caused Cleopatra to go into exile. As she was exiled to Rome, Julius Caesar welcomed her, being one of the most beautiful women at that time, and uses her beauty to change Julius Caesar's power decision and seduced Caesar and built private relationships with one another. Gaius Julius Caesar was a Roman general and statesman and then became a dictator of Rome in 49 BC. Ptolemy XIII, the husband and brother of Cleopatra, later died in battle during the conflict between his forces and Cleopatra's Caesar's forces, and arrested her sister, who was ruling together with her brother, and killed her there in jail. After the war, she leaves for Egypt and starts ruling there again. But she was now without a husband or co-ruler, and an unmarried woman ruling by herself was considered quite, shall we say, unorthodox. Fortunately, she had another brother, Ptolemy XIV. Caesar, who was in charge of executing her father's will, ordered that the two should be wed and appointed them joint rulers of Egypt. However, Ptolemy XIV was only 12 at the time, Cleopatra was 22. Their marriage was almost never consummated, and he never held any real power. It is thought that Cleopatra had him assassinated 3 years later in order to replace him as co-ruler with her 3-year-old son by Caesarion. And the real father of Caesarion was Julius Caesar. And in 44 BC, the Rome dictator Julius Caesar was assassinated by a group of senators in a meeting. Senators stabbed him 23 times. At least 60 senators were party to the conspiracy. After Caesar's death, Cleopatra then seduced Caesar's close friend Mark Antony and married Mark Antony, who was married to Octavian's sister. As a result, Octavian declared war on Mark Antony. The naval battle of Actium, in which Octavian faced the combined forces of Antony and Cleopatra on September 2, 31 BCE, was a disaster for the Egyptians. Antony and Cleopatra fled to Egypt, and Cleopatra retired to her mausoleum as Antony went off to fight his last battle. Antony fell on his sword after receiving the false news that Cleopatra had died. Cleopatra makes peace with Octavian, and she buried Antony and then committed suicide likewise by letting an asp bite her. After her suicide, Egypt becomes the province of Rome. But besides these all things, Cleopatra's achievements as a mathematician, scientist, and philosopher. She wrote a book called Cosmetics. The book was on the subject of medical and pharmacological work. She used to know 9 languages. Cleopatra makes sure that the women in her kingdom had rights, unlike so many other great kingdoms of the time. If you like the video, subscribe to my YouTube channel and hit the bell icon. Thank you for watching.